Welcome everybody. My name is Hunter. I'm the online campus director here at Water's Edge Church. And over the past couple of weeks, we've heard some amazing stories about perseverance. But today, we're gonna hear from TJ Terry, our executive director of operations. And he's gonna give us an inside look about perseverance in his own life. Why don't y'all check this out?
Hello, my name is TJ Terry, and I am the executive director of operations right here at Water's Edge Church. And this is my story. I think there are two things that when I was growing up became a core part of maybe who I am. And music definitely was a passion of mine from the age of 10 till about 20, well, forever, still now. And two, computers. And really because computers are complex. And I was drawn very, very young. I mean, 3, 4, 5 years old to the complexity of the computer, both on the hardware side and the software side. And so I think deepening my understanding of computers and my passion for them gave me the chance to wrap my arms around at a very young age, solving complex problems. And I would say that's what I've been doing ever since. What was my career before ministry? For 12 years, well, I'll take a step back. Since about 1991, my career has been leading people. Most recently, before I stepped into vocational ministry, I was leading operations for Apple for North America. Was what I was doing most recently. So I guess you could describe that if you don't know the structure of Apple or similar corporations. I was a corporate leader for Apple based in California, and absolutely saw that work as ministry, but not in a vocational sense. What caused me to shift into working for a church, right? Ministry on the job. One, I feel like God had been preparing me for it. But if you'd asked me in, let's say, 2006, 2007, hey, you're going to work for a church in a few years, what would you be doing? I would have said I would be a worship leader. That's what God made me to do, was to sing, write music, play guitar, sing. That's what I was made to do. And so I would have said, maybe God's preparing me to be a worship leader. I would not have said that God was preparing me to be a business leader within the church world. I would have been wrong, but that's absolutely it. And so I think God was preparing me for ministry for a long, long time, probably going back to 1997, so about 12 years. Second, I would say because a pastor at a church in North Carolina called me out of the blue and asked me to consider it. So his faithfulness and listening to God's voice took us on a journey into the world that we're in now. What are 3 feelings I felt when transitioning out of the corporate world thing that I was doing into ministry? I think fear. I would joke and say, I think fear, and fear. There were probably more feelings, but one was definitely fear. And it was big. It was fear of that the work that I'd been doing wouldn't equip me to be successful in the work I was going to do, right? So sucking at your job in the regular world is bad, but sucking at your job in ministry creates obstacles for people in their faith. Like, that's a really big deal. So fear that what I'd learned in my years of work in the corporate world would not transfer over. So that's definitely one. I think second, fear of being able to adjust our lifestyle. And I won't get into the details of it, but people that work in corporate America make a little bit more, sometimes a lot more than what people make in church. And so can my family and I still survive, still thrive with a different scale of pay that comes along from being in church work? And then I think the third was is maybe still fear in the unknown. And I'm not often afraid of the unknown. I kind of enjoy the impossible. But it was definitely we're moving to a new place. We're working in church work. We have no friends or family there. There was probably some fear of that relocation at the same time too. What was the confirmation that working in church was like my purpose, right? Was the reason why I was made. In 2011, I think it got pretty obvious that what God had been preparing me through my work at Apple was absolutely going to be integral in the work I was about to do. I think also in 2011, my dad started to fight cancer and slowly lose. And I think it was a confirmation in the grace and flexibility that the church environment gave me to be really present in my father's fight. And I don't think there's any chance I would have been as available if I'd still been in the environment on the West Coast that I was in. What is perseverance to me? I hope this makes sense. It's just what's coming in. It's like breathing. I don't quit. It's just how I'm made. If you know me, you know this is true. God works hard on me to hear His voice when I need to stop, not when I need to start or keep, if that makes sense. So persevering is natural for me in the way that I'm made. I'm stubborn, very stubborn. I'm not patient. So perseverance is believing that everything is possible through God. What situation in life do I connect with perseverance? Well, I mentioned a second ago that by 2011, God made very clear to me that what I'd been doing in corporate America at Apple was going to be used in a real way in moving His kingdom forward. So 2011, a couple of people, one staff member, one leadership team member at the church I was at in North Carolina, and then one of the executives for the local YMCA organization were at lunch. And they were just two guys at lunch. They were eating at a Cajun restaurant, talking about faith and life. And this strange conversation started where our church staff member shared that we were a church with 30 acres of land in the fastest growing area of Raleigh for homes and families. And the YMCA employee shared that they'd been looking for land in that area to build a YMCA. You could say, okay, well, what does that have to do with you working for Apple? Well, I'll keep the story going. And so what happened between August of 2011 and November of 2011, really over 3 months' time, was that we met with the Y and we negotiated over that 3-month period the church raising the funds, securing financing, designing and building a YMCA that the church would own and lease back to the YMCA forever, really, for 50 to 100 years, right? And so in 3 months' time, we went from being a church that was doing Sunday great to a church that was a land developer and a fundraiser and a construction company and a design firm all at once. And one of the roles I was fortunate enough to play in my time at Apple was leading our new store opening and remodel team. So the team that I led got really deployed hundreds of stores across the world. And so part of that role, I got to sit in with the construction and architecture groups that make these amazing works of art that are Apple stores, and learned so much. It was one of the favorite parts of my job before I transitioned away from corporate. And there was no plan for the church I worked for to design anything, to build anything, to create a massive artistic structure, to do anything in the architecture world. It just wasn't on the list. And so 2 years in, God made it very clear, hey, you did that job then so that you could be prepared to do this job here. Now, when we took a step towards developing that, you're like, okay, 3 months, you got the agreement in place. So we got an agreement in place, and we had to secure financing, right? We had to secure financing within a few months' time. We had basically 90 days to secure financing. 90 days came, And 13, count it, 13 banks said no. We could not find a lending partner anywhere. They gave us a 3-month extension. They gave us another 90 days to find financing, right? And so on the day that we had to secure financing, we found a lending partner. Gosh, that's crazy. So that's a sign of what's to come, right? We actually jumped into this believing that we could design and build this entire thing, raise the funds for it, and open doors in 2 years. That means like by the fall of 2013, this place would have been open. It took 6 years. 6 years of my life was committed every day. And when I say every day, I mean every day. But we did it. We were able to get through the project. So October 2017, the doors opened on 139,000 square foot piece of art that every single inch I could talk to you about if we walked through it. We did it. We did it. And there were countless times throughout that process where the leaders at the time would say, hey, is it time to quit? And we would pray about it, we would lean on God and believe in the bigger story over and over and over again. Everything that could have gone wrong did. Maybe not everything. Almost everything that could have gone wrong did. I pushed myself, my family, and I pushed ourselves to the very end of our strength, and what was left was our reliance on God. And I will be proud for the rest of my life for what is sitting in Raleigh, in the place where it was built. It'll be there forever, I'm sure of it. The success for the YMCA at that facility that has come since has been overwhelming. The response in the local community and the difference it's made is huge. And none of it would have been possible without God, for sure. And every ounce of it was a test of my patience and a test of my willingness to persevere over any obstacle if I believe that I'm doing what God has called me. What would I say to someone who is dealing with their 18th mile? One, it's temporary. It will not last forever. The 6 years that was, the project in Raleigh building the YMCA space felt like it was never going to end. Looking back now, it's been almost 4 years, and it seems like an eternity ago. So it's temporary. If you're exhausted, it's temporary. If you think about it in the way of a wall, right? And you're right here, you're climbing that wall, maybe your hands are near the top and you're just about to crawl over, right? You're at the wall, you're right at the obstacle, you're face to face with the thing that you have to get over. By the time you get on the other side, it'll be an amazing feeling of accomplishment for making it through this difficult season. Two, if you're on the other side of the wall, you've just crossed that 18th mile and maybe you're at the 19th mile, you got to reach back and grab for someone else too. God did not lead you through that experience of perseverance for you and you alone, for you and your family alone, just for the experience. It's for that person who's on the other side of the wall who needs your strength to pull them over. And last, I would say, God is with you. It is not even by your strength that you will overcome this season that you're in. It is by His strength that you will persevere. God made everything, the heavens and the earth. God created a universe that's always expanding, so there's always more and there's always enough room. God is a generous and graceful God. He's forgiven you for every mistake you've ever made, and regardless of the circumstance that He's put you in today, maybe because of choices you made or things that are outside of your control, there is a lesson to learn, and God will get you through it.
What an amazing story from our executive director, TJ. I mean, what he said was absolutely amazing. That's what the whole perseverance videos have been about. And it's not about us, it's to help others, and God is with you through all of those situations. And if you love this video, man, I can't wait for you to tune in this Sunday at either 9:30, 11, or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't join us this Sunday, that's okay. We've got Tuesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m. And guys, please, again, if this blessed you, if this helped you in your season, going through different situations in your life, share this with your friends and your family members, because I know that a shadow of a doubt that the story that my wife and I walked through has helped other people too. So if TJ's story helped you, Share this with your friends, share it with your family, and I can't wait to see you on Sunday. And don't forget, God loves you, but don't forget to love him back. I'll see y'all later.